should we just get started straight away? Alright. Leave that on to Alan.
I'll just move the laptop back just in the thing.
Yeah, so it's 9 frame.
A bit more. Yeah, better.
Just want to make sure everyone see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
it's fine.
when if you can start recording.
Yeah.
You're starting recording when? Alright, good. Okay, so first we'd like to start off. Could you give a brief introduction about yourself?
Okay. I don't know, I'm a PhD candidate at UWA in chemical engineering. We use nuclear magnetic resonance to study desalination membranes. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, could you just give us a bit more detail about your area of research for your PhD?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we essentially use medical MRI, which a lot of you've probably come across before. So what we can see is complex flow patterns within the desalination membrane. What this allows is essentially a new insight into how these things actually operate. A lot of people will develop computer simulations and things like that without actually understanding what's going on in the full 3D space. So that's what we're doing.
Cool. Can you give some reason about why research is important?
Sure. Sorry. Hope you're going to edit this.
It's okay.
So the research is important because there's a lot of assumptions made, and these assumptions may or may not be valid. So when you actually understand what's happening, you develop a better computer model. You can essentially develop prototypes for testing within computer models. I mean, you look at the way gas turbines and things like that have been improved with 3D modeling and computer simulation. Similar processes can be applied to desal. Desal is a very energy intensive process, so anything you can do to even change a couple of percentage of the energy consumption is significant over the life of the plant.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what's your role at university?
So my role is primarily a researcher. So I undertake the experiments, I analyse the data, write it up, report it.
Do you do any teaching at the university?
Yeah, I have done teaching in the past, but this is essentially my final semester.
Oh, okay.
So I'm writing up my thesis now.
So how do the engineers use the learning from your teaching in the workforce?
Okay, from my teaching,
Yeah.
so the teaching that I've done is essentially Motion 2001.
Okay.
So that's your fundamental unit.
So you're a tutor, like.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, actual teaching, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Actually, I'm doing the motion now.
Well, you would have had me, but I'm
Yeah.
not doing it this semester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What has been the career path for your current role, and what future plans do you have after you finish?
Okay. So I think my career path has been fairly, well, it's not traditional. So I failed year 12. I went to TAFE. I worked for 10 years during the mining boom, essentially. Jeez. So yeah, 10 years in mining, and then I kind of knew that it wasn't going to last forever, and I kind of hit a wall in terms of my career development. I did a lot of research in desalination. We were looking at some very complicated streams, so we were looking at acid purification, mineral concentration, using desalination membranes to do these things. So some fairly complicated research in complicated streams. So I came in 2010, I did a bachelor's at Curtin, and then I met with my current supervisor, who was doing some research into membranes and desalination using NMR, and he was keen to take me on. And develop the research further.
Sorry, just quickly, could I just ask about your experiments? How thorough are they? Like how detailed, and how long does it take for, say, one experiment to just be completed and the report to be done?
In the PhD?
Yeah, just in your
Yeah,
recent
sure.
experiments.
So it essentially took about a year to get my experiment working properly. So then the actual data that we collected was over 2 days, and there's been several months of analysis after that. So one of the advantages we have with the medical MRI is it provides so much data from one test. So the difficulty in my work has been trying to get things to run stably and give you a good test. Once you have a good test, you can do an awful lot of analysis on that one test and the repeat tests after that. Yeah.
When do you
Yeah, back to the role. How did you secure your current role?
So I had a discussion with my current supervisor. He looked at my previous work experience and was very keen to take me on as a PhD student.
Cool. So after you finish your PhD degree, are you going to go company or keep your research in university?
No, I'll go to a company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So what are you going to do?
I'm actually going into a different field. So I'm going into fertilizer production. So one of the jobs I had previously before starting university was concentration of fertilizer streams using membranes.
Yes.
And the people I used to work with, I've stayed in contact with, and they're like, do you want to come and work with us on another fertilizer job? So that's what I'm doing.
It's just so cool.
Yeah.
What do you think about the developments in your particular major, and how it's progressed over the years since you've started studying it, or if any developments?
So developments in the research or developments in...
Yeah, just in the research side and how it's affected today's world for the better, benefited us.
Okay, I mean, so the optimization of membranes has really really become advanced since about 2000. So you look at the amount of energy that's required to extract water from seawater. We're getting very close to the thermodynamic limits, which means from a chemical and separation perspective, we're getting much, much better at it. There's certain things associated with the construction, which is what we're focusing on. So they haven't been changed since the 1960s.
Okay.
So there's a big opportunity there to try and save some energy and save some money. I think with all sort of new ideas and new test methods, it takes a reasonable amount of time to gain traction within the wider industry. But the people that we've spoken with, like some big manufacturers, they're very interested in the results. Yeah.
And for the engineering student like us, what do you think about the skills we need to be an engineer?
What skills do you need?
Yeah.
Well, one is to never stop learning. So once you leave university, that's when your learning really begins.
Yes.
That's the main thing, I think. And having an enthusiasm for your job. If you don't enjoy your job, you're never going to give 100% in the job. You're just gonna, yeah.
Okay, so our final question was, can you give any tips to young engineers? But I think that was pretty good.
No worries. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Just any tips for university, just in general?
Tips for university, I don't know, it's a lot of work. It doesn't matter what stream you pick, it's a lot of work. And it disrupts all of your life. So if you've got partners, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, it's going to impact them. So it's not so much getting through the work, it's all the other things around that that you have to learn to manage. Yeah. So it teaches you how to get things done, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries.
Anyone got any questions? Just while we're here.
I think that was
Yeah.
That's
Okay, thank you
Yes.
very much for your time.
No problem.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you.
We'll send you the finished copy